college credit. All right, so we're recording now. So with this, I wanted to share just quickly what it looks like in terms of having the general education requirements. And I'm going to let Dr. Sodi take it away in terms of how we can apply this for ACP, AP, and ACP credits in your school.
Thanks, Monica. So as I mentioned a little bit in my introduction, we currently offer 3 courses that are specific to teacher education through ACP, through our UMSL program. And one of the things that Monica and I always talk about when we go to the high schools and talk with students about this is just kind of how those courses are structured. So in your mind, you might think about there's basically kind of 2 tiers of classes here that would apply to teacher ed. The first of those courses is our child development course, and that's basically your intro to ed psych class. And so the first course that your students would take as high school students would be this child development course. And the child development course is good because it also counts towards that core 42. So if you have students that you might be recommending or encouraging to consider teacher certification, they would start with the child development course and could kind of make a determination that way. It's not a wasted credit, even if they decide not to pursue teacher certification, because it counts towards their gen ed requirements. So they're still getting that benefit of coursework, completed at the high school level and not having to pay and take that early level class at a college tuition rate. And then if students are successful in that class and they want to continue and are considering what we call degree in 3, or what you might think of as a grow your own, then they could go on and take the other 2 classes that we offer through ACP. And again, as I mentioned earlier, it's basically the equivalent of Ed Foundations plus an early clinical, what we call an early clinical experience course. And different high schools call these different things. Some call them introduction to teaching plus an intro to teaching practicum. That could be a pairing of it. Some parallel the titles that we use at UMSL, which would be educational foundations and early clinical experience. But we can work with that. And my primary job with this, again, is just to facilitate the development of those courses if it's new to your program. So we would make sure that the instructors that you identify are qualified to teach that. And typically what we're looking for generally is someone with a master's in teaching is a sufficient qualification, but we would look at that and make sure. And then the next step would be that I would work with them just to develop their course plan based on the UMSL course syllabus so that they're covering the same course outcomes that we would expect. And then they would be meeting the expectations as far as the state of Missouri for teaching certification requirements. And so then that way, they're able to actually knock these 3 classes out. Monica has a very detailed plan that would actually show semester by semester how all of this would work for your students to basically get a year's worth of courses under their belt before they leave high school, and then how it would play out in those final 3 years on campus. So that's basically how it works. I also just want to say, and Monica and I always tell the students this too, obviously we're here from UMSL, we're pro UMSL. We want your students to consider UMSL and come and be a part of UMSL, but we're also pro teaching. And we recognize the teaching shortage. We recognize the particular challenges that some of your districts face in just meeting your requirements at the start of the year. Do you have enough certified teachers in your classroom? And we do know that there are some students, to me, high school seems so young now, right? But we know that there are students in high school that may already be showing that aptitude for the field. And so what we're really interested in long-term is developing a secure pathway where we are actively, and I say we, meaning you at your district levels, actively identifying students that would make good teachers and that you would love to see come back and be a part of your district. And so we're interested in supporting that work in any way possible. There are some other benefits for your students. If we have an ACP program active at your school and it's up and running, any student that takes an ACP course for credit through UMSL is automatically eligible for a $2,000 per year scholarship. So just by taking and completing the course successfully, they automatically fall into that scholarship pool. And that's, like I said, every year for up to 4 years, they could get that scholarship also. So there's a benefit there. We also, of course, always talk to the students about how our ACP credit hours, I think, and Kathleen will correct me on this, but I think the rate is about $70 per credit hour right now.
$70 is correct.
Okay, thank you. Good. So, you never want to give the wrong number, but, $70 per credit hour. So for example, the child development course is a 3 credit hour class. So 3 times 70 is what they would pay for that credit. And, David was talking about some of the money that is available. And we know that some of your districts do also have some other funds that are available to cover student scholarships for college credit. But even if your students or your families are having to think about paying this out of pocket, I mean, it is significantly less than what they would pay, as we know, as a full-time college student. And so there's definitely financial benefit there. Monica and I also always talk about like, hey, we paid for our own college. We're still paying for our own college. Like, we get that. And it's hard to think about when you're a high school student. $70 per credit hour may seem like a large amount. It may be a large amount for some of your students, but the cost benefit, if there's a way we can make this happen for them, is significant, just in terms of reducing their long-term student loan costs and et cetera. So there really is a big financial benefit here as well. The other thing I just want to say briefly is that Monica touched on this a little bit in her presentation, but we're really thinking long-term about the support around this. Students that would come through these programs would start very early on, getting to know their peers that would be coming up through this program, and that it's kind of it is a built-in support network coming all the way through. And so I think that's one of the things we're most excited about as the program grows, is just really getting these students to come together early on and to work together throughout the program. We know, and here David can correct my number on this, but we know upwards of 80% of our College of Ed graduates, our certification candidates, stay and work right here in the metropolitan area. Like, our graduates stay here, they're from here, they live here, they want to be in our local schools. And so we take that seriously as well. As far as UMSL, we understand that our impact in terms of our program is pretty immediate, and it's very local. And so for us, there's a really sincere interest in partnering well, starting at this, these junior and senior students that could be taking courses to connect them to our campus. So did I touch it all, Monica? I'm not sure.
Yeah, you did. And you did. Thank you so much. And as Dr. Sodi shared, for students that are already earning college credit through ACP, AP, and ACC courses at your school, like she already shared, Degree in 3 is a perfect fit for them, because as they step onto the UMSL campus that first semester, they already have less courses that they have to take towards getting their degree. And I know this was already shared, but I love to stress it. This option will always be less expensive than having them wait to take it when they get into college. So how exactly is it that we can guarantee that students can fit that 4-year degree into a 3-year plan? So as Dr. Sodi mentioned, I have a very detailed plan here that we do for each and every one of your students at your school. This is an example of a fall, spring, and summer layout of the 120 hours needed for the degree completion of the elementary education bachelor's degree plan. And it looks like a lot of classes per semester, yes, but if your students take some of these general education courses that we mentioned earlier on the colorful spreadsheet, and some of the degree specific courses that Dr. Sodi mentioned, they may be able to go ahead and knock out a lot of the courses that they would need to. And yes, it's still definitely a load, but again, this was created for highly motivated students that are really ready to get out there and get into the workforce. Now, I won't go into too much detail here, but again, I just wanted to offer a quick example of what a personalized plan looks like for a specific school. So going back to that colorful list of general education requirements that we mentioned earlier, this is the same type of layout here, but we included all of the courses that this particular school offers that meets the requirements for that category. So as you can see, there's several options for the students here, and someone could easily knock out many of their gen eds and even some of their basic degree specific courses if they choose to ahead of time. So as I wrap up here, let's do a quick review on why Degree in 3 is awesome. So it's a lot faster than your students may think. They're completing their degree in 3 years as opposed to 4 years. It's closer than they think. It's that home away from home, still getting that traditional college experience. And it's more affordable than they think. We have the lowest tuition rates in the region. It's more flexible than they think. As you saw that base plan a couple of slides ago, we offer classes year round and in multiple formats. And it's a lot more connected than they think. And Dr. Sodi touched on this. We have the largest alumni network in St. Louis. So connections for career opportunities are plentiful. And then also something specific to Degree in 3 is they're going to be receiving that personalized plan like the one that you saw earlier, where they can see what classes are offered specifically at your school, how they can apply those. Instead of taking, random courses that they think they might could use, they're taking specific courses that they will need and nothing more. They're going to be receiving personal support from myself in making sure that they are connected and supported before they arrive, while they're here at UMSL, and then even after. They're going to be connected to a cohort of students that will be supporting as their, that will be a support to them in terms of like a cohort in terms of the transition that they're making. And we have a lot of really exciting activities that we have planned for once COVID regulations continue to lift and it's safe to do so. They will also be invited to presentations, workshops, campus events, and they'll have access to videos on teaching and tips for studying. And they'll also have access to many career development tools and mentors. And again, getting connected with the community members that will also be serving as big supports to growing our educators. So the whole Degree in 3 pathway really in sum is a huge support system that is modified to meet your students' specific needs in an accelerated way. And in this way, we're able to support your students in getting to their careers faster and in a more affordable way as well. So I'm here to answer any questions. I know that there was a lot of information. I am happy to share these slides so that you can share them with your students. If that's helpful to you, just send me a message in the chat and I will do so.
Monica, thanks so much for the presentation. I've listened to that multiple times and it's still amazing to hear and see all that is offered and all the great work you do with our Degree in 3 programs. Kathleen, I'm interested in hearing from you, your perspective on the ACP credit, how districts that currently have it can utilize it, how districts that don't utilize it can get it. But also, I remember we've had conversations before that, our Degree in 3 program through the College of Education is specific to just the elementary certification pathway. But that doesn't mean that a student that doesn't load up ACP credit can't get their secondary certification, let's say, and knock off a year of college as well. How does that all work? What's your perspective on that part of the process?
So my perspective is get as much dual credit in your high school as possible. Several reasons for that. One, of course, is always the saving money part, which is awesome. But I think more importantly, especially when you're talking about students who might be first generation. I've done research and others have done lots of really good research on the effect of dual credit on college success. And kiddos who come in even with just 3 hours are much more likely, by like 75% more likely to graduate from a 4-year program. And the more hours they have, the better off that is. The other thing that one of the things that it does for kids is it gives them a really good sense of that they can graduate from college, that they are, it's like, well, this is it, I'm doing the college work. Some of our best examples of that are when kids actually come to campus. I have several teachers every year, not this year, COVID, but every other year, have brought their students onto campus to sit in on campus classes. And the kids walk out and they're like, I knew that, I can do that. My Spanish is just as good as theirs, and that sort of thing. So it's really beneficial in that way to get the kids onto campus. We can teach them how to use the libraries if they're part of the ACP, and then they have access to the libraries if they're part of the ACP. So all good reasons to go for it. Now, one of the really great benefits of being a partner with us and the ACP is that if you have, let's say you have 2 teachers who are currently able to offer ACP, and your other teachers need to get their master's degree or their 18 hours. We have a very generous scholarship program for your teachers. So teacher A can give to teacher C, you know, the scholarships that she earns by getting students to enroll. And it's kind of, it's not really complicated, but it's, you know, just talking about it makes it sound complicated. But it's a really great program. So we can help your, you know, your new teachers come in, they want to get a master's degree, you're already partnering with us, we can help you do that. We can help you encourage your folks to come to UMSL and get their master's degree, and we can help them pay for it. Up to 30 hours of an actual master's degree and 18 hours if they already have a master's but need the 18 hours. I don't know, other benefits to this. I should point out to you, and I know we are all growing. I myself was a high school teacher. Actually, I started as a kindergarten teacher and then became a high school teacher and then a high school administrator. But some people don't want to be teachers, and we also have a degree in 3 program for other degrees, communications, political science, several others. If you look at our degree in 3 website, you'll see the other programs that have, you know, they spell it out, which is really good for kids. You know, back when I was in college, back in the late 70s, you know, it was like, here, take classes that look like this, you know, you need this many and that many, and you push them together and maybe you graduate. So it took me 5.5 years. I don't know about the rest of you. I did enjoy every minute of it. But with that degree in 3, it's all spelled out so well for the kiddos that they don't have to think about it. It's like, okay, I'm taking that this semester, I'm taking that next semester. And, you know, if they have to do a summer class here and there, it's all programmed in there for them already. And we at UMSL are making sure that those classes are available. You know, if we say they're going to be available and you're going to be able to graduate in 3 years, then we're going to make them available. Okay. Did I hit on everything, David?
I think so, and I'm sure there'll be some questions that'll come up that might cover something that we didn't mention, but very great presentation, Monica, Kathleen, and Julie. Thanks so much, very, very much for the interest. And I'm sure everybody could hear the passion and the drive. We're all 4 of us here are former K-12 educators. I was an assistant principal at a high school for a long, long time. And it's just, it's a passion of ours to connect with and continue having an impact on K-12 students. We just do it in a little different way. So thank you. I want to open it up to questions now, so that we don't have 23 people asking questions at the same time. If you would, under the reactions menu on the bottom of your Zoom window, you have the ability to raise your hand. I'm going to be monitoring the chat. So if you have a question, just hit that little blue button that says raise hand. I'll call on you. You can unmute yourself and then ask any questions that you would like at this time.
We have a question in the chat already, and it's, what would the teacher requirements be? In order to teach for offer dual credit, the state of Missouri and the Higher Learning Commission, they're the real stinkers here. They require that a teacher has to have a master's degree in their subject area or a master's in a related field with at least 18 hours in their content area. So another beautiful part about UMSL, when I started here several years ago, sat down with the College of Education, and we created an MSED with a 18-hour emphasis. So anybody you have can come to school here, get their MSED, and 18 hours in chemistry, or 18 hours in mathematics, or 18 hours in whatever, and they would be qualified. And that's all you need. That's a lot, but you know, you can do it.
All right. Are there any other questions? Now's the time we always become just like our students in the classroom. We sit and wait for someone else to ask a question. So take your time. We'll stay here as long as you need, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. I'll fire a question away that I always think I know the answer to, Kathleen, regarding the scholarships available for students taking ACP. Can a student is that available only to incoming students that start as true freshmen? Or can a student who goes away to a community college and then comes back still
Yeah, it
have
doesn't
access
fit.
to those scholarships?
It does not transfer in.
Okay, so you have
But
to
you know,
come
that's
in and,
something, yeah, that's something else to look at. So, you know, a lot of kiddos, parents in particular, I think is where I hear it from. They say, well, you know, my kiddo is going to do the, oh, somebody help me with the name of that.
Associate of
You know,
Arts
you
and
can go to
Teaching?
community college, like you can go to the community college for 2 years for free. What's that called? Oh, A+.
Oh, A+,
Plus.
yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So those kiddos can go to community college for 2 years, A+. Well, that's all great, but if these kiddos already have 12 to 24 graduate or undergraduate hours, and then they go off to the community college, they only get 1 year free because they can only get up to so many hours at the community college under A+. And then what they will be doing is they'll be missing out on the scholarship, that $2,000 a year scholarship that they would have gotten for going through ACP. So, you know, I'm not dissing A+. I mean, it's there for a reason and it works for a lot of kids. But if you have a really good, talented student, you should really encourage them to look at going to a 4-year college, even if it is an UMSL, because there's a lot more scholarships available. And if you did the math, you would find that these students it will cost them less to start at the 4-year than to do the A+ and go to the community college. Does that make sense to everybody? Because they've already got some hours. They can only take so many more. You know, they can't take junior level courses at the community college. They have to come to UMSL to do that, or a 4-year institution to do that. So it really pays for them to, you know, come up to UMSL or to the 4-year school that they are planning on, have a sit down with the cashier's office and say, okay, how much is it going to cost me to graduate from here? And how much would it cost me to graduate if I went to the community college first? You know, there's a fine line there, but a lot of times it's cheaper to actually start at the 4-year.
Julie, you raised your hand like a good student. What would you like to share?
Yeah, I just wanted to tag on to that, just specifically about the Associates of Arts in Teaching that some of the community colleges offer. Because, and again, I don't want to, I'm not dissing the community college or A+ at all. I was a first generation college student.
Me too.
Junior college, like JUCO is the way to go, you know, if you're trying to get a foot in the door. So, but one caution I would like to issue just in terms of thinking about grow your own and teacher cert. If you have students that you are specifically thinking about in terms of grow your own and coming back as a certified teacher, the Associates of Arts in Teaching, sometimes students are said, you know, they're told, come do this degree, it's free, you'll get it. And then you can take it to another program and just get the last few courses you need. There's actually not a direct parallel between this Associates of Arts degree in teaching and most of the programs at the 4-year university. So what happens with us, unfortunately, is we'll have students that will come to us with an Associate of Arts in Teaching and they've taken classes they don't need. So they have built courses into this associate degree just to kind of fill out the program, but they don't meet the state certification requirements that like are on our matrices from DESE, where DESE says, check, 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 these courses count. And so they end up wasting some of that credit hour. And so I just put that out as a caution. If they want to get their associate's degree, that's great, but they should really focus that associates on gen ed requirements, not teacher cert requirements, because not all of those classes actually transfer in, and they've wasted free credit hours they could have taken gen eds with. Does that make sense? It's just mathematically, it doesn't make sense. And new students don't know to ask that. When they show up as freshmen on the JUCO campus, all they hear is, I want to be teacher. So of course I want to get the Associate of Arts in Teaching. And then they end up at the back end, it just doesn't transfer quite right. So that's a conflict. It's something we are working on with the community colleges to try to get, like, we want what they're offering to transfer in directly. It just doesn't currently. And that's their programming versus the programming of 4-year schools. So just to have that out there, if you know you have students that are definitely looking at teacher cert, just to kind of plant that seed with them and to make sure that they're choosing the correct program that's going to benefit them the most in the long run, because, you know, we don't want them to waste money on credit hours that are not going to help them. So And we always, just the gen eds too. I mean, Monica talking about the courses that are offered in your schools. I mean, most of these courses that are going to be offered, they're going to fall under that gen ed umbrella. So you really want to push your students as much as possible to take as many of those as they can. It just ends up saving them money in the long run. So.
Thank you, Dr. Smith-Sodi. Appreciate that. Good. Dottie Graham has a hand raised.
Okay, I'm just kind of clarification. I'm kind of new to this whole thing, even though I have an idea. You said that UMSL can help pay for this up to 30 hours. Is that because you're giving, does that mean that the reduced tuition is how you're doing it? Or is there
No.
actually money that is available, or is it from our district's ESSER
the
money?
way- Yeah, so let me explain that in more detail. So say you have a teacher who's offering English, and she offers an English course in the fall semester, and she offers one in the spring semester. If she has 8 students take the class in the fall semester and another 8 in the spring semester, she will earn 2 3 graduate hour scholarships. So they're each worth about $1,500 these days, right? So those 2 scholarships she can gift to other people on your campus.
So the
So-
teacher would gift it to like the students,
No, to other teachers.
to other teachers.
Yes. So like, say you have one English teacher, right? And she's getting ready to retire. So that other English teacher needs to come up and get her master's degree or get her 18 hours. That's the teacher that she would want to gift those to. Or she could gift them to the chemistry teacher or to the, whatever teacher. So yeah, we gift away, I think last year it was close to $200,000 in scholarships that go directly to teachers. Teachers earn them, and they either keep them and they can use them themselves, and they can get like their EDD or their PhD or their admin, whatever they want to do. They earn them themselves. But most teachers earn them and then gift them to other people in their building. We do have student scholarships as well. So the ACP student scholarships for kids to actually take classes in your building. And that's all of your high school teachers have to come to campus once a year or attend PD once a year. And they get a scholarship when they do that. And if they come twice in the year, they get 2 scholarships. And then we automatically gift the high school a couple of scholarships just for being a partner with us, and so on and so forth. So the higher your enrollments, the more student scholarships you get.
And they would gift those to the kids.
Correct. Yes. And some schools collect those. They say, when you get those, bring them to us, because they, the administration might have a better sense of who needs them, monetarily. So they do it that way. But some schools just let the teachers select a student in their classroom who they think deserves it. They do it because they're the best student, whatever. But it's up to them. It's up to your school how you want to work that.
And for the student scholarships, when they earn them, when the teachers go to train or when and they earn a scholarship, what is the value of that scholarship? Just curious.
Well, it's depends on, so they can use it for a 5-credit class or a 3-credit class. It doesn't matter to us. It's whatever, so if it's a Spanish teacher who's offering 1001, that's a 5-credit hour class. So that kiddo, so what we do is, like, if we get a scholarship from a teacher and the kiddo's taking maybe 3 classes, 2 of them are 3-credit classes, one of them's a 5, we automatically apply it to the 5 hours.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. Where are you? What school are you with, Dottie?
Ferguson Florissant School District.
Great. Well, you guys, we give to school, but you guys pay for your students. We third-party bill your students. I don't know if you know that or
Okay,
not.
I don't know that. My kids graduated in 11 and 14. I paid for their dual at that time. So I do not know how
We do
that
it,
works.
yeah. We do a third-party bill with Verflor, and but we still have the scholarships. So we still use those. We still, we got it all going on. Your teachers are using the scholarships. Your students get to use them, etc.
Okay, great.
But you should encourage all of your students to sign up because it's free. if they pass. They
I
gotta get a
think
C or better.
Well, that seems doable.
You would think so.
I think so. I have a funny story though. My daughter didn't take advantage of the dual at first and later on, and I was like, why didn't you tell me about it? And she goes, well, Mom, I didn't think I was going to UMSL. And I'm like, it doesn't matter.
It goes everywhere. And I'll give you a good story about how dual credit transfers now versus AP. So a few years ago, I had a young man who contacted our office and said, help, I took these dual credit classes. I need the transfer. I need blah, blah. Anyway, what happened was, this is a kiddo who got a 36 on his ACT. I know that because he applied for a scholarship at our university. Gosh darn if UC Berkeley didn't give him a free ride, right? And he chose to go there. I don't know why. But anyway, so he's off at UC Berkeley. He's entering his junior year and he wants to go into a particular program, but he doesn't have his 6 hours in English done. And he went to him and he's like, but here, I got my AP scores. And he got 5s on his AP English. They said, we're very sorry, but we don't take AP English. Oh no. So he contacted us and he was like, hey, I did sign up for dual credit, right? And I was like, you totally got it right here. It's on your transcripts, whatever. And what they wanted, they accept the dual credit. They just wanted to see a copy of the student's syllabus and a letter from his high school teacher, and they accepted it.
Nice.
So yeah, dual credit is like, especially when you're dealing with an accredited institution. That's something else they wanted to know, is if my program was accredited, and we are accredited through the National Alliance of Concurrent Enrollment Partnerships. Very important. Maybe we make sure that we meet all the standards.
All right, guys, what's the old saying? There is no such thing as a dumb question except the one that isn't asked. So now's the time to ask any questions you have. We have plenty of time to chat if you'd like to stick around and answer any questions that you have. If there are no more questions, then we will go ahead and wrap up our time today. I'll be sending out the PowerPoint on Monica's behalf to everyone that reached out to us. And for that matter, I may just send it to everyone who I have their email addresses on. Most of you should have my contact information if you received emails from me promoting this meeting today. If you don't, I've put it there. It's dastouffer@umsl.edu. And my mobile phone is 314-243-0773. Monica put her contact information in there, her email address, as well as Dr. Smith Sodi. So you're welcome to reach out to them if you have any other questions. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us. I know some of you have registered and are interested in our meeting on Thursday on our graduate alternative certification partnership called Teach Residency. That will be Thursday at 1 o'clock. If for whatever reason you haven't received information about that and would like to attend, please contact me either by phone or email, and I'll get you that information as well. Guys, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for the work you do every day. My passion is still the kids of our world, the kids of our community, the kids of our schools, and the needs that they have. And you're in the front lines working to try to make a difference. So thank you so much for everything you do every single day. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your work to try to change the world for kids and families. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a fantastic summer, and we hope to talk to you more in the near future. Thank you very much, everyone.